Hi.
Hi. Oh, look at
Oh my
you.
God. Yeah, oh my God. I just got this yesterday and I'm so happy. Wait, I hope the camera is like fine. Oh, what did I just do? Can you still see me?
I can. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
You look like Pocahontas, like medicine woman, like just, oh, that's so beautiful. Do you feel like just
Yeah,
medicinal energy all
yeah, yeah,
around
yeah.
you?
Oh my God. Like the second I landed, I was like in the medicine space and like I've had like so many activations and clearings already, so I'm like oof. Yeah, it's honestly kind of a lot, but I also feel so safe. So it's like it's a nice like balance. And also like sorry for the delay, but also I think it was such a potent thing for me because I was working through like rushing and urgency energy like the past couple of days. And so I felt that panic coming on and I was like, "Oh no, Megan's waiting." But then I was like, "No, this is perfect." So like
Oh,
everything here is medicine for me.
oh, that's amazing. And while we were waiting, I recorded like a 2-minute TikTok. I was just like, I'm just gonna pull it up and start yapping and just until, and then right when I was finishing, you popped in the Zoom.
Love that.
It was perfect.
I love your like shirt. I don't know what to call it as well.
Thank you. It definitely has a name.
Is
I've
it?
forgotten it, but I got it in Egypt. So it's like my kind, it's like
Oh, yeah.
what you're wearing, and this
Oh
is
my
that
God,
for
yeah.
me.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I was like, what makes me feel the most powerful? That's what I'm wearing too. So,
I
oh, this
love
was
that.
amazing. So, question for you. Do you want to lead an open space this morning, or would you like me to? Where are you at in your cycle?
I'm in inner summer.
Okay. Do you want to
Oof,
drop us
I
in?
don't know because I'm like, no, actually, can I receive? Is
Yeah. Yes.
that
Yes. I
okay?
think
Okay.
yes. 100%.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. So we'll just bring all of our energy back into center, closing down the eyes, sort of abruptly cutting off any other
Mm.
thoughts that were racing through our minds, giving ourselves permission to reclaim this time, this space, calling our energy back from every person, place, and face that we've interacted with over the last few days, weeks, months, years, lifetimes, eons. Taking a breath in through our nose, calling all of our energy back into center. Slowly releasing that out through our mouth, letting the flame of our sacral fire burn away any rushed energy, any stagnant, expired magic that is rushing to return home to source. We're arriving right now in this present moment to allow that grace and that peace for any energy in our field that's ready to return. Calling all of our energy back to center, inviting our higher self to take a seat on the throne in the center of our queendom at the 0 point where the four cardinal directions meet: the north, the south, the east, and the west. Running our energy up and down the rose line, the north and the south, sending a ruby red lightning bolt of love from our root chakra down to the iron center of the earth, receiving that love, pulling it up from our root to our sacral chakra, to our solar plexus, to our heart chakra, to our throat chakra, to our third eye, to our crown chakra, up and out through the top of our head, opening the thousand petal lotus, sending that up and through our dragon star chakra to the center of the cosmos, the crystalline grid network of Sophia Gaia that lives in the Pleiades, protected by high frequency energies and medicines, allowing us to run divine Kundalini energy like a current through our channel from the galaxy to the iron center of the earth. Our inner child seated on the divine throne, bolted to the iron core of the divine mother, safe, protected, calling all of our energy into center, sending love to our inner child, nestled safely on the throne in the lap of the divine mother, calling in the wind in the north to blow around us counterclockwise, to blow our thoughts in the right direction, to blow our haters away, calling in the fire in the east to roar and rage around us counterclockwise, to burn away our attachments to past lifetimes, to material possessions, to connections that no longer serve our highest good, calling in the earth in the south to roll around us counterclockwise, grounding us, connecting us to gravity, receiving our positively charged ions and returning negatively charged ions to us, calling in the water in the west to flood in counterclockwise around us, to guide our flow, to keep us fluid and forgiving, inviting in the angels of the four corners to form concentric circles of light within and around us for transformation, transmutation, and transportation of any energy in our field. Inviting in the archangels to open the four cardinal gates to stand, serve, direct, and protect all energy entering and exiting our field. Inviting in Saint Germain to form a violet flame ring of fire around us in all 360 degrees in all four directions. We'll take 3 dragon's breaths together to seal this violet flame empowerment in through the nose, out, in, out, in, out. This circle is now closed, completed, sealed, and protected by the power of 3, a perfect trinity. It is done. We are now in ceremony where time and space no longer exist and magic and miracles occur instantaneously. Slowly bring ourselves back into our bodies, back into Peru, back into that cozy medicine woman coat you have wrapped around your arms, back into our bodies and into the Zoom. Oh, that was juicy. Your background is stunning.
Yeah, it's just like mountains and nature here. I love it. It's so
It's so
grounding.
special. And in one of your voice notes, you were like, when I get back to my hut, and I was just like, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so how's it been grounding in resting the last, I don't know, 12 hours after
I
your
mean,
travel?
I'm pretty jet lagged. Like my time difference with Prague, where I came from, is like I think 7 or 8 hours. So I'm like sleepy during the day and then like kind of awake at night. But because I've been so sleepy, I'm able to sleep. So I'm adjusting. So it's not too
Yeah.
bad, but I'm like quite tired. So I'm still like landing. Yeah.
Yeah. What are your plans for your first couple of days? Are you completely in flow? Your voice notes
Yeah.
have told me a little, but
Yeah, I am completely in flow. I do have I am meeting a sister today to pick up my Aya medicine. And so I'm planning to sit tomorrow, but I'm not sure yet. So yeah, that's like my only plan. That's like the only thing that's certain. Well, like I'm not sure exactly which days, but I'm certain I'm gonna sit with the medicine. And otherwise I'm like completely boundless. Like
that's beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah. And are you planning on sitting and holding yourself through that ceremony, or will you be sitting with a group?
No, I'll be sitting on my own. It's gonna be my first time. I feel like such a huge initiation into that. And I feel called to share this story quickly. Is that I was supposed to come in May to sit in ceremony, like a normal Aya ceremony where you're guided. But I like because of a turn of events, I had to come in June. And that ceremony that was I was supposed to go in May, I booked it for June, but then it got canceled for whatever reason because the ceremony guide couldn't. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? I guess I'll just go. And then the sister that lives here in Peru as well, she was like, do you like, I have medicine. Do you want to sit alone? And I was like, oh my God, yes. Like, I want nothing more. And so I just felt, I like, just like, what was I going to say? I followed that call. And yeah, now I'm here. I'm so excited. Yeah. I feel like I just love the medicine and I just trust it so much that I feel like I'm like ready to sit on my own and just be in my own energy. Because in ceremonies still like there because of all the people and like someone else guiding, it's different, I'm sure. I
Yeah.
mean I haven't experienced it on my own, but like I want to be able to like really just sit with my own essence. And so yeah, that's my plan.
That's so beautiful. And I'm feeling all of that as you're saying it, because it is, and ayahuasca especially can stir up fear in people. And so sitting in ceremony where someone is leading can provide safety. But when you feel safety through being in your own energy, that's a whole new level of sovereignty and power. And
Yeah,
it's
I think
beautiful to
that's
share in community, sorry, but when you
yeah.
are feeling led to sit with Aya and just connect one on one after your ceremony with your mother and Aya being that grandmother essence, it's like now she wants to just hold you, just you and her.
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. It's like this, what you touched on, like with saying sovereignty and safety. That's exactly what I'm like moving into right now. And so, yeah, it's like a perfect, honestly, it's a perfect reflection of where I'm at, like internally, as it always
Mhm.
is, right? Like as within, so without. So, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And where you're at too with your like leadership, with the leadership codes that are just pouring out of you, like up through your womb, over your throat. The things that you're sending me on our voice notes, sometimes I listen back and I'm like, this is, I hope that you can hear yourself the way that I hear you. And I know it's not always how it works, but the leadership codes that are brewing up, it feels like you holding yourself through the ceremony is going to unlock like an entirely new level of your own medicine and your own ceremonial flow and how you like to hold and carry those codes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that,
Mhm.
actually.
Mm.
Such a nice compliment.
I want to hear about your ceremony with your mom and your sister that you held this past weekend on the full moon, which was a massive full moon. What reflections or anything do you have to share from that ceremony?
Um, so I initially didn't know I was going to hold the full moon ceremony. We talked about me holding a new moon ceremony. And that was like, I think a week before the full moon, something around that time, maybe a week and a half. And I started jotting down ideas for the new moon ceremony. And I mixed them up and I thought the new moon was in Sagittarius, but it was actually the full moon that was in Sagittarius. So all my notes were like Sagittarius related, like fire element, all that. And I was like, yes, this is great. And then I realized that the new moon is going to be Gemini. And I was like, well, of course, like I think I just need to hold full moon ceremony now because I have all these ideas. And it came naturally. Like we were just talking with my mom, and I mentioned there's a full moon, and somehow I was like, I could hold a ceremony, and both my mother and my sister were so like up for it. So I was like, perfect. And they were even up for cacao, and they're not like cacao ceremony drinkers. So I had to explain to them like what cacao is for me and stuff like that. And it went so well. Oh yeah, the fun part, which I already told you, but I'll just say it again about the drum, is like I usually do my ceremonies with a drum and then I sing. And my like I used my drum the day before and it was perfectly fine. But then as I started I didn't check before the ceremony, but as I started drumming during the ceremony, it just didn't work. Like it was out of tune, or like I don't know how to call it when a drum is like um the sound is not like potent. It's just like it's flat. And I was like, what happened to my drum? And like I think it just got untightened or something like that, because it's I have this drum that you put in the sun and it's leather and it can tighten up again. And but the funny thing is it worked the day before, and then the funny thing is it worked again the day after. Like I didn't tighten it and it worked again. So it's like, of course this isn't gonna happen. And so I started drumming and I was like, this sounds horrible. I'm just gonna stop. And I was like, I have to rely on my own voice. Like I'll just trust that my voice will carry me through. And a big part of my me learning my own medicine is my voice. Um and so it was like a huge initiation for me to just trust just that. And so I ended up just singing throughout the whole ceremony. And I did light language in ceremony as well,
Mm.
which it was the first time my mom heard that. My sister heard that, but with my mom it was the first time, and I had like a little bit of insecurity about like, oh my god, like what is she gonna think, like. But yeah, it went really well, and they really enjoyed it. Like they both went into really a deep space. I called in earth, fire, and Mother Mary came up strongly. So
Mm.
I called her in for heart medicine, cacao, heart medicine, everything with the
Mm.
heart. Um, and yeah, it was honestly so nice. And like I now looking back, I'm already like, okay, I know what I can do better and like all that. I think with the moon being in like the its autumn phase, I'm like, oh wait, I can do that better and that better. And so I'm getting even more excited and more ideas. And like I remember and during the ceremony, there were a lot of like energies that came up within myself about being confident because I was like, oh my God, like I'm just singing. Like, what do I like? Is this gonna be fine? But I just continued. And now I can see how much more confidence I have now compared to
Mm.
even like a week and I forgot a week and a half ago, right? Like full moon.
Feels like years, right?
It feels, yeah, it feels like a whole lifetime. And I think like me coming into Peru was such a like a time warp. I felt like I feel
Mhm.
like I'm like I just quantum leaped or like I was like in a wormhole like and like now I'm like fully in my medicine and I'm like, wait, I am medicine woman. Like, and that time I was like still practicing. And so I feel like, yeah, it's the power of the cycle, isn't it? It's like the winter
Mm.
into the spring into the summer, and now I'm like summer looking back. And that time, I think I was just beginning my spring, so it was like different energy completely. And yeah, it's crazy how quick everything can change.
It's so powerful. And I love how the moon like played with you during that whole process. Because the fact that you were planning for a new moon ceremony and then what you were planning for new moon fit perfectly over full moon, like that's new moon goofing all like that has new moon goofing all over it. Like that's new moon goofing
Yeah.
energy, but the moon is like, no, sister, we're moving faster than that. And that's to me, that's the moon's energy. The moon like accelerates everything, but it's soft and it's gentle and it's slow. You only have to do
Mm,
a fraction of the things you think you have to do to be totally prepared and totally in the right place and right on time. And then your drum, things like that, when you're telling someone who doesn't understand how energy like fucks with you, for a lack of better words, you sound crazy because you're like, it worked yesterday and it worked the day after, but it didn't work today. And people are like, okay, it just sounds like that all the time. And you're like, no, really, something is off. And it's these little energetic shifts that provide you an opportunity to fill it with guilt, shame, like lower vibrational fears, like, oh, of course my drum doesn't work. I'm not meant to be a medicine woman. I'll just quit. Right. And you have that opportunity to kind of throw your hands up and insert victimhood or any type of a thing. Or you have the power path where you're like, well, I guess I have to rely on me. I guess my voice will carry me through the ceremony. And it's so powerful. And then the comedy of the next day you hitting your drum and it sounding totally normal is just I can't because so many things
yeah.
in ceremony and things that you would never even think of, the way that our angels and the elementals and the fairies and the moon really fuck with you, but in a playful way that guide you along, that accelerate you along your medicine path, is it's undeniable. And until you start playing with yourself, you really can't believe the level of intimacy that our spirit guides get to guide us to the next portal.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you on, because this is a place that I'm in right now with the ceremonies I hosted this past weekend too for the full moon. I want to hear about the ideas that you have for next time, what you'd like to do differently in a way of not from perspective of like what went wrong or what I didn't do, but always from the perspective of how can I do it differently next time. I want to kind of get into that and just hear and let you stream of consciousness some ideas and thoughts that you have about what you'd like to do for your next ceremony.
I think the big thing for me first is like trusting myself even more because at that time, like, although I was like on little stepping stones of trust and I was like, can I do it? Can I not? Can I do it? And I could feel that I didn't put all my power into my voice. I was kind of like treading slowly, which I'm sure was part of the medicine as well, like the gentleness and everything. But now I'm like, so maybe it's the summer energy talking to that I'm like, I want to be like powerful, you know, like
Mm.
I can go even like louder or like I could sing louder because at that time I was like la, 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 la. Like you know like at
Uh-huh.
some points and then at some points I did let go, so I think like deeper surrender for myself. But then in terms of the space I think I definitely want to improve my like altar space because I set up like a little altar with like little petals and like rose petals, and then I did candles, and then I did like a little rose quartz crystal and a little Hathor pendant that I have from Egypt.
Mm.
But I feel like I could be more intentional with it. And again, that relates back to power. It was kind of like it felt like now I'm feeling back into the energy, which I'm glad we're talking about this. It feels
Mm.
like I was like careful, you know, I was like is this like I'll just put this here and like quiet little mouse, you know? And now I'm like, no,
Uh-huh.
I want to like imbue more power into, is that a word? Imbue?
Works.
Put in more power into the altar, into my voice, into like my presence so that I can like yeah, so then I can create like more support for the people um in the space. And that kind of reminds me of how you were saying we need to like it's a self-concept thing where we trust that we are the powerful like medicine woman, and that way people can feel that from us and then they get what they need. So I can like I think I can like step on the gas a bit more with my
Mm,
medicine in terms of like confidence. And then like I think I would love to like start thinking about where I can host, because I did it in my house, like at home in my living room, and I just moved all the couches. And now I'm like, no, that like I want more. I want like a proper space. So I'm like calling that in, like where I can share my medicine maybe with other people. And
mm,
so that would be cool because I want like nice blankets, because I just got like whatever blankets we had at home. I threw the pillows together, like whatever we had. So I want to be more intentional and create a more sacred space. Not that that wasn't sacred, but like I feel like I want like matching pillows, like matching mats or whatever, or maybe not even a yoga mat, maybe like a more of like a proper like lounge kind of mat. Um and I think I do want more instruments actually. Like now that I'm thinking my drum didn't work, I would love, because now I was walking around the city, not the city, it's a little town yesterday, where I got my little poncho and I got like a little rattle thing as well. And I want to like include more sounds. Like
mm.
um and with the rattle it reminded me, I don't know where you said it, in a podcast or a TikTok, but you said like sound like is so great for um like getting rid of energies that get annoyed easily by sound, like with the rattling and stuff. And that reminded
Yeah.
me of that, and I was this morning like clearing with it and it worked so well, it was so potent. And so now I'm
Mm.
like I have more elements to bring into my sacred space. So yeah.
Oh, I love how you landed that too, how you said you have more elements to bring into your sacred space, working with elemental magic and working with the fairies and those second dimensional beings to help move the energy in ceremony because they love that. It's almost like the noises call them into like hungry, hungry hippo, the energy that we're wanting to release out of ceremony. And I love how you were putting in little pieces about what you did to prepare for this ceremony because I was like preparing to ask you and then you started just talking about it in your own flow, the things that you did to prepare for this ceremony. Like what was your setup like? Because if anyone watching this maybe that's never held a ceremony before or wants to start holding one for the first time, because this was your first ceremony holding for others, like letting others in your queendom,
um
right?
like I did it for my sister before, but I never really made it like a proper ceremony. I kind of just like I was like lay down. I brought in some elements, like I had like things that I held or put, but I never made like a proper altar like I did this time. And I
Okay.
didn't like start the ceremony by like dropping everyone in. Like I kind of just did my music and a little bit of like guided meditation. But yeah, this I would say this was my first like ceremony. Especially
Mm,
like I think I felt the difference of it being two people, because when it was just my younger sister, it was more me like playing around. Like it wasn't serious. But with the
right.
ceremony, I took it so seriously. I took it like it would be the only ceremony I would ever do. You know, like it was the one ceremony.
Yeah.
I went into it like with complete um I don't know there is no word for it. Like I was just like fully like this is it. Like my whole focus was on that ceremony. So I would say
Yeah.
that was my first like proper ceremony. Yeah.
I really like that your intuition is like delineating this ceremony, there being something that you're identifying as like proper versus the others were like practice ceremony. Like it, to me, that feels like a threshold that you know that you stepped into something bigger than before
Mm,
because in your memory, you're like, this was a proper ceremony, like something shifted here. And that to
that's
me is
true.
what ceremony is like our taking it seriously because we play around, we fuck around and find out until we start seeing things actually work. And then we take it seriously, allow others into our queendom, or hold a ceremony for ourselves. And it's almost like there's a moment in our journey. We're always bought in, but there's a moment in our journey where we really buy in. And that's where leadership stops becoming, at least for me, it stops becoming something that's scary. And it's something that feels so natural and it feels so like childlike, where you're like, people are afraid of this for no reason at all. Like, this is so unserious, but it's so serious.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think like I forgot exactly the words you used, but just now you said like wait, what did you say? I
Like
forgot.
marking
But
that point of it being
yeah,
proper.
marking
And
that point. And like also when you said like like what I heard was you decide when you want to be like a medicine woman or like when you want to like self-initiate, right? Because before that was a huge thing I struggled with was like that self-doubt and that like how can I say that this is me, like or like I really doubted my power. And I think the moment that I was like, no, I'm just gonna like I'm I don't know like where this is gonna take me, but I'm just gonna try at least, or like I'll just accept it. The ball started to roll so much quicker, and then the momentum
Mhm.
started to speed up. And um, yeah, no, like that self doubt was something I struggled with for a really long time. And now actually, I'm reflect like this made me reflect back and realize that like, oh, now I don't doubt that I'm a medicine woman at all. Where for like a proper like year, I was like, I felt like I'm like I feel like I know stuff. I feel like I can, do stuff. I feel like I know like I feel energies and stuff like that. But I was just like I think it was also a matter of learning, like um actually like practicing and learning as well. Like I didn't know what it was. And
Yeah.
so I doubted, and but it's like all it goes all together. Like it's a bundle, right? Of like self-doubt or whatever. And then the more I started to be like, no, I'll learn, and like with compassion as well, it kind of got the ball rolling. I think I went a bit of a tangent, but probably
I'm with you.
irrelevant.
I'm with you. And it's funny how you mentioned like doubting being a medicine woman, because if a year ago you was sitting on this side of the screen seeing you in Peru with a poncho on, like with all this behind you, just as the medicine woman you are, like would laugh and you're like, why am I doubting my medicine? The version of you 3 months ago, seeing you right now, hearing the things that you're saying, it's
Yeah,
just like it's almost comical how the journey to get there is very real. It's very vicious. It's very dark. But once you're there, you're just like the confidence is and the doubt melts away and it
yeah,
replaces or it's replaced with actually the doubt melts away and unveils the like golden statue sculpture that's been under it the whole time.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, and that threshold, that marker of like we're talking about stepping into ceremony, had your drum and everything kind of worked in flow the way that you wanted it to, thought that it would, the way that it did every other day that you've been practicing ceremony. Because I remember your drum being, it was almost like an anchor for ceremony. Um, because we talked about like carrying it with you on your walk to the park as a practice of starting to become the version of you that is hosting ceremony in a public park. Because when you first start singing, even just singing, not even for medicinal ceremonial purposes, most of us don't just walk down the street singing because we're afraid of being judged. We're not singers and we don't think we have good voices. We don't want people to think that we think we have good voices, so we don't sing.
yeah,
And so we
yeah,
just avoid that shame and embarrassment altogether. And so carrying a drum around like you did at the park to embody the version of you that was holding ceremony, your drum turned into like an anchor in a way. And so for your drum to kind of call out sick on your first proper ceremony, that, and we've talked before about the levels of initiations, and you said initiation and something that you were saying, but it's like how our 3D reality initiates us once we have initiated our own awareness by saying and declaring, oftentimes quietly, I am the medicine woman. I am ready to hold ceremony for my mom and my sister. And so you self initiate. And so it is already done before the ceremony even is held. You hold the ceremony in the 3D physical space to honor the decision and the shift in energy you made. And because your mom and your sister were there, they come with you on that new timeline that you're turning the corner on.
right.
And then the 3D initiation, like your reality is going to validate it in some way. And so many of us look for 3D validation first, where
Yeah.
in place of that, like energetic validation. But to me, your drum kind of popping out was like, you don't need me for this. Like, you got this.
Yeah, what was coming through as you were talking, all like saying all that was like the drum was symbolic. It was like, and it like marks another up level for me as well, because it's exactly how you said, like I didn't need it anymore. And actually, I'll just share something quickly because the similar energy happened to me. Like as I was traveling, I have this like face oil that I use that has like improved my skin like so much in the past month. This is gonna have a point. And
I'm loving it.
I arrive here and I open my bag and it's like all spilled out. And I'm like, no, like this is like the product, like this is the face oil that I use that improved my skin. Like there's nothing else. And I was like, what am I gonna do? Like my skin's gonna be horrible now. But then I realized it's like, no, like that was symbolic for me to kind of receive the clear skin that I like wanted. And now that that's gone, like, can I trust that my skin will remain clear? So it's the same with the drum, where it's like the drum was symbolic for me to, or it's like kind of a 3D representation of where we're at in a way. And then at some point you can let that go. And like it's also a trust and letting go of even what you think you really need, and trusting that if, I don't know, if it spills or like if it doesn't work, trusting that, yeah, like it'll be fine, and something else will replace it, or maybe you don't need it at all, right? Like maybe I
Yeah.
don't need like a specific skincare routine, or maybe I don't need that drum. So yeah, it's like it's another level of like detachment and trusting my own, in just my internal like medicine, just my internal energy. So it comes back to energy again, and like detaches from the 3D. And yeah, yeah.
I love that you
That's
use
what
the word
my,
detach because that's I started to like the moon was talking about detachments. When we're working with the moon specifically, a lot of it has to do with detaching from scarcity and lack because when we open
oh yeah.
ceremony, if we have lack and fear and scarcity in our system, we hold space for that in ceremony. And so as ceremonial medicine women, our work is clearing the lack and scarcity. And in my own journey, and this is the kind of stuff that can make you crazy and that and it's like small stuff, there are bigger problems, but when you're like really in the heat of this work and you feel like you have nothing else, like everything is just vapor, like you're grabbing onto physical things and nothing is
Mm-hmm.
taking, you have
Yeah.
your practice. You have the things that make you feel in your practice, our oils, our lotions, the things we put on our face, the things we put on our skin. And then when we're ready to level up, maybe not consciously ready to level up, but when our higher self is ready to give us a boost or the moon is ready to press the gas pedal, things that we're still holding lack and scarcity around, for me personally, start popping off. And one of the things like this have happened with how your oil exploded and now you don't have it. I'll never forget. There was a specific thing. I was working with money and I work with money a lot through honey. And I had like the last probably quarter of the jar of this big Mount Shasta honey jar. And I was in the throe of it here in Monterey. I didn't know when I was going to be able to get to Mount Shasta to get more honey, to get more water. And I'm just like, tumbleweeding in lack and scarcity. And I'm like, I only have like, 2 weeks of my honey left to use on my face. I use my honey with sugar as like a face mask. It's the only thing that makes me feel grounded in the morning. I can't explain it, but it like connects me with my guides or whatever. And that same morning, I remember letting out like a squeak of lack and scarcity. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like be able to have the money to like rid the car and the Airbnb to go to Mount Shasta to stay. The next thing I know, I'm walking into my bathroom. I drop the jar of honey, the glass on the floor. So not only did I lose all of the honey I had before, there's glass in with this sticky honey, and I was in a hurry. And so it's just like our universe sort of inserts these really inconvenient, uncomfortable scenarios for us to quickly realize where we have attachments and or where we don't, or where we're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
drum's gone, guess it's my voice. And then it's like our confidence just it doesn't go away. It's a new level, it's a new threshold, and we walk really firmly on that ground in that new timeline in that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, I don't know why this is coming through, but I'm like, I keep moving because the sun is like following me, and I feel the directions like so strongly. Like I think I'm like, I don't know what because that way is south. So I'm like, nah, I started like west, and now I'm like I'm moving, like I feel like
That's
I'm gonna do a full circle during this call. And that's so funny too, because on the way here, I bought like a book about directions. So like directions are just so significant for me right now. So I don't know why I mentioned that. Um, yeah.
that's really powerful. And you mentioned that Mother Mary was coming through in your full moon ceremony. Mother Mary South, like she's
Yeah.
pulling you now too. That's so interesting. I love that we're getting like peeks into the background of where you're at. We're getting to see a little more of where you're at. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So the next phase in your journey is going to look like starting to hold space for others. And we're planning on you holding space for others while you're in Peru, correct? Um, how do you feel about, I'd love to hear actually a little reflection on your journey starting your cycle. Roughly 3 months ago, I think our first call was in February. We met one on one and then we started working together over the next 3 months. You started tracking your cycle, dropping into your womb. And Yana, you just like the way that womb just sort of like opened and unfurled like this rose. It was so beautiful to watch. I'd love to hear from your perspective, your reflection looking back, if you can even remember what February felt like, or March or April, but just reflect a little on your journey. If you were talking to someone who is just starting their womb journey, just starting their cycle tracking, who is like 50-50, what is this going to do for me? How is this going to help me with my right now problems? Anything that's coming through that you'd like to share and reflect on?
Okay, like the first thing that keeps like coming strongly for me is um I realized that my initiation into the womb also followed a cycle, but like the years, um, what are they called? Seasons. So the first time I actually connected to my womb was last, like end of summer. And then that autumn, I was like really connecting. And then during the winter was when I met you, when I went even deeper. And so, like, the energy of spring, of like the world spring, really supported me, I think, in connecting to my cycles. So it's like cycles within
Mhm.
cycles within cycles, right? And so I think that's part of the reason why I was able to like move so quickly. It was because like that my I set those intentions like in the winter of like the last winter we had.
Uh-huh.
That came through strongly just to share that. But otherwise, for people starting, it's easier than I thought it would be. In the beginning, it feels like so overwhelming. Like there's a lot of information, right? It feels like there's a lot of like things to remember. And I think that is also clearing out that control because I was like, oh my God, I can't miss a day of journaling, or like I need to understand what each cycle, like which each season means, and like what, like I was really attached. But the more I just journaled, it the cycles cleared everything out for me naturally. And like I think so for anyone starting, just start, you know. Like it's like there is no like rules to it. There's no um yeah, there's no guidance except returning to your own guidance. Oh, let me.
Mm.
Did I pause? Okay, no, it's
You're
fine.
here. Yeah, we have you.
So yeah, it's like returning to, it's not about the cycles, it's more about returning to your own wisdom, right? Like it's more about
Mm.
looking within. Um and what else? Can I feel how I felt then? It's so difficult for me to like feel back.
Right.
So difficult. Yeah, I don't know. I just, and I also feel like that was such a destined thing for me too, because I feel like it went, there were times during those 3 months where I was journaling where I was like, this is going so slowly, I'm not moving at all. And then all of a sudden, like I'm here in Peru, you know?
Right.
So like it
Oh,
also, another thing for people who start is like
yeah.
it will like the moments where you're like, oh my God, this is so like difficult, or like treading through mud, it will pass as well. And like I know it may sound like you know, to anyone hearing and they're in that moment, they're like probably like, oh my God, like I heard this a million times, you know, time will heal, blah blah blah, or like it'll pass. But like it really does if you just continue to just take it day by day. And I think listening back to your explanations on your podcast of like the cycles helped me a lot, because I would come return to it like, I don't know, weekly or bi-weekly. When I would forget what each season meant,
Mhm.
I would return to it so I can remind myself, and then I got um like all the information I need. But I also
Mhm.
then learned to like trust, to reach for it when I needed it to support me. So it was like, it was really like a balance of like, am I doing everything right? And then trusting the wisdom. And then at some point it tipped over into just trusting. And now I'm like, I know that everything that I need will just come to me, or like I'll have the idea of when I need it.
Mm.
And so yeah, like it was a huge it was a huge like lesson, initiation into just trusting my path, which is now I'm deepening into that because I want to like even trust even more. But those 3 months were really like it was also like symbolic for me to choose myself rather than like the stories that I had about what I need to do or like how I need to do things. I used to have like a really like hustle mindset, like a masculine mindset of like I have to like find an office job and then like make money and then that's how I'll travel. But that like choosing to follow womb wisdom
Mm.
was my form of self-love, of like I'm gonna shut everything out. And it wasn't easy, of course, but I was like, I know I'm gonna like continue with this because I don't trust the hustle culture. Like I don't trust that. And like I didn't know what to trust at that point. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep going.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm returning back to trust again. I think trust is just a huge thing that came up for me those 3 months. Um yeah. Now I'm looking back at it and I'm like, wow, like I'm so grateful for the experience, you know, like I'm looking it back with such like fondness. I feel like I'm in a different
Oh,
lifetime. Yeah, the power of the womb is just like it's like words don't describe it, right? Like I mean it's beyond anything we know. So, yeah.
yeah. And hearing you reflect on this, just like having worked through it together, when we talk about it like this, it definitely doesn't speak to the initiations that we endure in the underworld
Oh
to
my
get
God.
to this level of trust. But even reflecting back, and I'll let you speak for yourself, but in my own journey, reflecting back on the initiations in the moment where you feel like you're like gaslighting yourself, where the universe is gaslighting you, where it's almost like certain points when you're the only one not seeing your power, like running into the mirror. It's like every relationship in your life is like there's nowhere for you to go. It's almost like you run out of corners and you were just like forced to look in the mirror. And it's when you're in it, how you were talking about, it felt like things were moving so slow. And also that to me, that speaks to that like winter, coming out of the winter into the spring. It feels
Mm,
like you're like clawing out of like muck and mud and it's all like attached to you and it's
I
sticky and
was.
it's tar and you're like coming out of the void and you're like, get it off of me. And then finally, once it's off of you, or you're like floating in summer in Peru in June and you're like, what happened? Um, but yeah, that process of rising, like first descending into the void. And it's like when you first start your cycle tracking journey, just like with manifestation, you're like, this is going to be fun. I'm going to learn all this magic. And you're like, whoop, to the
Yeah.
underworld we go.
Yeah.
Persephone just holds your hand and she's like, come on, baby. And we go to the underworld. But then it's like, then to me, and let me know if you feel the same. Once you get to the underworld, it's like everything you've experienced in your life from before you even started tracking womb, like your childhood starts to make sense. It's like you see how you were seeing through magical eyes your whole life.
Oh my
And
God,
then
yeah.
it's like, okay, and then it washes away whatever pain was had because of X, Y, and Z. And it's like all that power just floods up.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I think like the amount of times I reframed what I thought was like worthlessness or like a fear, scarcity during my childhood, it was like no, like it just shifted my perspective to make me see that that was a moment of initiation sometimes, like when I was a kid. And then the other thing, oh, it left. I was
I
gonna say something and it left.
love
Uh,
it.
yeah, but yeah, no, like 100% that power is yeah, witnessing that power again from it's like for me it just feels like this was all meant to happen. Like I feel, oh, this is what I want to say. Like I think I forgot how difficult it was because it was so difficult at some points, like in the past 3 months, especially, well, not even just in the beginning. Like I think I went like this and then in the middle it was really tough and then I started to come back out.
Yeah.
um but like I almost like forgot how bad it was because it needed to happen, and now I see it like the womb brought all that up because I couldn't take it with me. It was too heavy. It was not me. And like
Mm.
everything that the womb brings up is out of love. And like I
Mm.
know I'm like, because I went through it, I can see that now. So anyone who's in it, it's so difficult. But it's also like I kept on coming back into that belief in my mind that like no, I trust the mother. I trust the cosmic, the earth mother, right? I trust everything that it's bringing up. And I was like, I think for me, the big thing that helped me move through it was like willingness. Every time I felt like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this, or like this is so difficult, I was like, okay, I'm willing to see a path forward. Like I'm willing to
Oh,
move into it. I'm willing to open a bit, like even a bit. Like you don't have to like, like I think at some point I was like, oh my God, I have to like open completely and know exactly what I need to do. But I when I like kind of softened in my expectations of myself, and I was like, I'll just open like a tiny bit and like trust a little bit and see where that takes me, and then it really does start to get the ball rolling like very quickly. I feel like I said that expression like 5 times. I don't know why.
I'm with you
I
though.
never say
Yeah.
that. But yeah, like that really is how it feels for me. It's just like like
Yeah.
a spiral. So
Mm. And I love that you mentioned when you were talking about the cosmic womb and the mother and like releasing the stuff that's not yours, descending into your womb, help you see what's not yours. Part of hypervigilance and learning trust in this 3D world is if we put something down, nobody's probably picking it up behind us and putting it away. Or if we leave something unfinished, nobody's coming behind us and finishing it. And so, working with our womb and working with the mother when it comes to pain and trauma, when we like lift it off of our shoulders and set it down, we're so used to like going and picking it back up and it being even heavier because maybe we get into a relationship and we are unknowingly like handing this to that person trying to get them to fix it, and when we get it handed back to us it's even
Yeah.
heavier, so we're carrying it all on our back. When we start working with the mother, and this plays into trust that you're talking about, when we set it down and we're finally like willing to set it down for a moment to have relief, when we're in the cosmic womb, when we're centered in our womb, when we go to pick it back up, it's gone. And it's
Mm,
like learning that when we're working with the divine mother, that energy actually does, it actually help, that actually helps, it actually removes it and it transmutes it. And it's learning that process of like, oh, I really can trust this magic, because we're so used to like almost getting tricked of like, oh, we thought, that heavy journey was over, but psych, it's twice as much now. And learning to really trust that divine mother through the path of our own earthly mother, right, and whatever connection we've had with that energy, and really learning that like every time we go back, it's the same, like she's there, she's just as present, she's willing to take that off of us, and allowing ourselves to then be worthy enough to have it taken freely off of us, which kind of speaks to like the the Christianity of like, ask for your sins to be forgiven and they're forgiven, that concept of how easy that can be. Now that's a different pathway, we won't go down that journey right now, but really trusting to build faith and that connection with the divine mother through the womb, it actually lightens our load and allows for the journey to spiral back upward, to be free and light as a feather.
yeah. No, that what that brought up to me is like trusting to let go. And that's what we kind of started, I think, in towards the beginning, where with the face oil and the drum, it's like you have to learn to let go of like what you think you need and then
Mhm.
receive like the next step, right? And like usually I think we get it, or for me, I felt like I got into the stagnation because I was holding on to everything. Because I'm like, no, I don't want to let this go. It's like scarcity, right? Like I can't let this go because then what am I gonna do, right? Like,
Yeah.
and like just learning to just release everything and trusting that there's always like more. Like I think for
Yes.
me it was like I was like, if I let this go, like because I couldn't imagine what it could be like beyond that, I was like, I can't let this go. Like I just can't. But then at some point you learn that you are always there and like you don't actually die after, like, you have, sometimes it feels like you're gonna die because you're gonna
Yeah,
let something
it
go,
really
right?
does.
And then really like you start, as you learn to let go more and more and more, like little by little, you start to realize that you remain always, like you are always there, and then it's just the world changing around you.
Yeah.
And yeah, just yeah, releasing, like letting go, that's such medicine.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Well, those are the final questions that I had for you. I'd love for you to talk about how you track your cycle, because this is a hot topic, and we get like, I personally bounce from like method to method. What are a few of your favorite methods for actually tracking your cycle? What did you find worked best? What gave you the most like feedback, the most useful information, and any tips or tricks or things that you'd like to share or talk on about that?
So I started just journaling like normally, like every day, and I did that thing where I wrote the date, the day I'm of the cycle I'm on, and the moon phase. And actually, in the beginning, I was just focusing on my own, like before I learned the moon phases, I was just writing my own day. So I like my first entries don't have the moon.
Hmm.
Um, and then I switched to, I remember you said you made this journal at some point where it's like a five, like those 5-year memory books or something,
Hmm.
where I have like day one and then it's like 3 blocks. And I created like a document for my iPad, three
Cool.
blocks. And then it's like each cycle, I like go to a new, I mean, each day I go to a new page. And then when I restart my cycle, I return to day one.
Yeah.
And then I do that because with the journal, I found like I got kind of annoyed to go back through all the
Hmm.
pages. Like, I don't know, like,
Hmm.
I was like, I don't want to read all this. This is too much to read. So I wanted to like make it more compact and like easy to access. And then I've been doing that. But then I found that writing was too slow. Sometimes like I have like 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 I feel like frequencies or energies, and like speaking them or is type like I mean writing them is too slow, and then they start to
Mhm.
like get lost, right? And so I switched to typing because I can type much faster. So at the moment I'm just whoa, I feel like I'm going a million miles per hour.
The
I
energy's
feel like
speeding up.
yeah, yeah, oh my god, yeah. I feel like I'm typing. Oh, I know I feel like I'm typing. I just have a notes in my notes thing on my note. um I'm just typing everything out. So I have
Cool.
and but I'm doing it like cycle per note. So I have like let's say day one and I write everything out, and then under that I have day two and then I write everything out. And I only did this for like 1.5 cycles. So I
Uh-huh.
haven't gone fully back to the beginning yet. But I'm enjoying the typing more. Like I think at
Yeah.
some point I was like, can I switch to typing? Like, is that like should I not include technology into it? Because I had this like this I don't know, this like belief or story that like technology is bad in some way and that
Mm-hmm.
I should
Mm-hmm.
just stick to handwriting. But then
Right.
I was like, no, I just feel better for me. I'm just gonna do it. So I think actually the lesson out of this is like do it however feels right for you, you know? Like
Yes.
ignore the like technology or not, or like, you know,
Yeah.
paper or not, like just do it however you're gonna stick to it. And right
Yeah.
now I'm actually not going back as often because in the beginning, the first like three, well, the in the past, I was like, I went back, like I felt like I needed to reread everything like really often. But
Yeah.
now I'm like, I'm just gonna trust the flow and I'm gonna keep writing. And then when I feel like I need to look back, I do look back and then I get what I need. Or
Yeah.
I'm now like, um, now I intend because I'm in inner summer, my inner autumn. I want to actually look back then. So I'm like journaling for the first 3 seasons, and then I'm gonna look back at the end rather than like feeling like I need to have everything like together. It was like I think a form of control as well, where I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like I need to make sure that every day I know where I was in the past cycle. But then I think that's why I switched to typing as well from that like um the the document that I mentioned where it's like
Yeah.
the same thing, because I was like I don't need to know every single day what happened in
Yeah.
the previous cycle. Like yeah, sometimes it can be useful, but sometimes I was like this is too tiring.
Mm-hmm.
Um so yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I felt the same way. The first three cycles that you track are like where you're really collecting data. Because for me, when I started tracking my cycle, it took me probably 3 months to actually start tracking. I was like, I'm going to track my cycle. I'm going to track my
Yeah.
cycle. And then it was like setting the intention, right? And then like not shaming yourself and whatever, going through that process. But the first three cycles that you actually collect data, I found myself reviewing often as well. And then after the first 3 months, it's almost like you go into cycle tracking, like deeply seeking something, like needing the answer to something. And it's almost that last bit of control and
Yeah.
wanting to trust. And it's like by about 3 months of cycle tracking, it's doing it to me now
Yeah.
too. Cycle tracking, you spiral into your womb and then you return home and you realize that what you were looking for the whole time, the answer you were looking for, you're in it, you're arrived at it. And so it's almost like this relief washes over and the urgency dissipates a little. It's not like you're looking for an answer so much as anymore, but you trust that by collecting the data, you're gathering information. So after the first 3 months, it shifts a little. And I love that you went from like method to method because it truly like, and usually every 3 months, like every season, things shift anyways. But the medium or the modality that we're tracking our cycle for the first 3 months, as long as you're able to like look back at your entries and review them and really be able to either listen or read in some capacity, you can get that feedback. But even like how it changes and the medium that you're collecting your data on is information about where you're at in your cycle. So right now we're in summer, you're in your inner summer and you're preferring to like type and talk fastly in your business, that gives you information about how you best show up during that inner season, during this season of the
Mm.
earth. And so like when we start using everything as information rather than like validation that we're failing, which is what we our ego looks for, right? Tell me, show me all the ways that I'm fucking up so I can validate that I'm not good enough to be at this beautiful timeline, right? When we move past that, everything that we're doing is valuable. And I love that you quickly were like, reading through all of these is too much. I want to like collect all my day ones together and the day twos and review them that way. Any other tips or tricks from like when you have something cool, when you would look back
Yeah.
in your cycle? Go ahead. Yeah, share.
I love that you asked like if there's any other, because I remembered something else that was so helpful for me, which was recording myself like
Mm,
speak. And like I think also working with you, like I got the container of like sending you voice messages and you reflecting back and things like that, which is amazing. But then also it's enough to even just have yourself, like you don't necessarily have to have another person, although it can
Yeah.
be very helpful. Um, but I would just set up my camera and then I would say like I'm on day one, this is the date and stuff, and then I would just speak. And that was really helpful. And honestly, I didn't even look back, I think, at any
Yeah.
of the recordings I have. I still have them. Uh Even though in the moment I was like, oh my God, I'm so gonna look back at this because
Right.
as you speak, um there's so much like shifts that can happen. And it's kind of like what we talked about so many times about like letting the energy pass through the throat. And like
Yeah.
for me that was so helpful because I would start by speaking like honestly with where I'm at. Like I don't know, if I felt fear or something, or I felt like insecurity or whatever, I would just speak like completely honestly without holding back, because at some point I also had that fear of like speaking like something bad and then that happening.
Hmm.
And so that was such a clearing. And then I at some point it would like the energy would shift and I would have answers for myself. It didn't happen every time, but that was very helpful.
Yeah.
Now my throat was like clearing
Mary
again.
Magdalene. Hello.
Yes. So that's like the tip that I wanted to say, like just
Yeah.
recording, even though like you don't necessarily have to look back at it or anything. It's just like, yeah, there is a medicine in that as well.
Yeah, when we just talk and allow our voice to flow over our throat and our mind, it's like we allow our womb to speak before our mind gets involved. That is alchemizing energy and it's changing the energy. Like how when you, with your drum and your voice and your ceremony, how the drum was like, I'm out. You're like, okay, I guess it's my voice. Your voice was what was transmuting that. And something that was a couple of things were coming up for me in that. One, if we record it and just speak it out into the universe, like that in and of itself transmutes energy, it's medicine. The energy was not the same that it was before passing through our throat chakra. So that can change the fabric of our reality. That can cause a ripple effect in our 3D. The next like piece, and this you touched on this when you send me voice notes, when we speak and we flow from our womb without getting tangled in our stories, when we allow our womb to speak before we think, and we allow ourselves to be witnessed. It's like levels of medicine. When we
Yeah.
just speak and we allow ourselves to hear what's coming out of our mouth, and we could potentially judge ourselves, right? We allow ourselves to hear it. And then when we take it a step further and start practicing visibility of allowing our voice to be heard, sometimes I'll send voice notes to people and I'm like, I just need somebody to hear. I need somebody to know that this is being said so that my reality can shift. It happened the other day. I sent one of my sisters a voice note. I was like, I just need you to know this is happening so that I can change it. And I sent the voice note to her and then bam, the reality just like 180 right after. And I'm like, this is so like, that's working with siren magic. Like our
Mm.
voices are actually changing the infrastructure of our reality around us. And the other piece is like how we talked about the different mediums of taking notes or tracking your data. They're different, they're good for different purposes. Like using your voice and doing daily cycle check-ins is good for moving energy. Journaling is actually having pen on paper, like on a notebook or something that's accessible and easy to get into and access easily. That's good for collecting data and like reviewing
Mm-hmm.
data. Typing is good for like getting things out. If you're channeling and you want to like maybe
Yeah.
if you want to write a book or if you're writing content of some sort, it's like these different mediums serve totally different purposes and they're all so useful and so valuable. Even if it's like on an app, right? Or I used to do on my notes app and I would some days I would just have emojis. I would like have a key of what the emojis meant. And I like went through all kinds of variations of cycle tracking, but anything is valuable as long as we have that data. And I love that you brought that up about how our throat chakras move energy because that's a powerful tool when we start working with our womb, is allowing ourselves to be witnessed in our healing, first by ourselves and then by others in sacred sisterhood or just in circles. Anything
Mm.
else coming up about
Yeah,
that?
another thing actually that I thought of now is like not needing to be consistent.
Mm,
Because for me, I had this like OCD thing where I was like, well, if I start my journal, everything has to be in my journal. Otherwise, it wouldn't be all together. And then otherwise, I wouldn't be able to like come back. But like trusting the calling to bounce between modalities, because like for example like what you reminded me of this when you said like I forgot what you said, but I have this journal app on my phone that at some point I was like, oh, this is perfect, I'm gonna only use this for my like womb tracking, and it's just gonna be this and it's gonna be everything in one place. And then I used it for like 5 days or something. And then I was just like, I was like, this is annoying. I don't like it, you know? And then I like every time I think I switched, I was like, I had this feeling of like, oh, what like will I lose all the information that I need, like in that thing? But like, what if that is an up level? Like, what if that can just,
Yeah.
you know, like you like those journals that I had, like, what if like I never need to look back at them, and that's why I'm switching. And so yeah, not needing to
Uh-huh.
be consistent.
Yeah. I love how at the beginning of that, when you found that note keeping app, you made the declaration of like, I'm only using this app
Yeah.
forever. Anytime we make those declarations, the universe is like, bet.
Oh,
How
that's
fast
true.
can
That's
we
probably
make
why.
it? It's almost like
Yeah.
we're setting ourselves up because I catch myself when I do it and I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, all right,
Oh
like, can we
no.
get this over with quickly? Like, the power
Yeah,
of our
yeah,
voice
yeah,
is no joke.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this was really fun. Yana, is there anything else in relation to cycle tracking or holding your first ceremony or working with the moon or anything? I actually just thought of something that I wanted to share, but I'm going to pass it over to you first. Anything lingering that you want to share?
Honestly, I feel complete. I think just like the one word that keeps coming up for me is like trust. Just like trust everything that happens is like your womb doing its thing, like doing its medicine. Like everything that comes up in the physical world or in your internal world, like it can all be held. Like it, like I think I went through a huge like perspective of, oh no, this shouldn't be here, you know, or like, why is this happening? Like, I don't want this. Like, I want this. Like, I had a hard time accepting the things that came up because sometimes my womb would create like situations that were really uncomfortable in my like 3D world. And it's not like we can ever predict, right? Like what happens or not. So there's no point in like fearing either. Like, oh my god, something bad's gonna happen. But like anyway, like trusting every single thing because now like anything I notice that I think of or I feel, I'm like, oh, okay, like if it's like uncomfortable, I'm like, okay, I just need to receive it or sit with it or like just hold myself in it or like just trust, like, you know, trust the process, which I know can be difficult, and like trust even when it's difficult, trusting the difficulty and trusting the process, you know, like it's
Mm.
like everything that comes is like I don't know, divinely orchestrated. That's like that's the words that are coming up. It's like it's perfect. It's everything is medicine. Like every single thing that happens is medicine. I think that's like, yeah, because then you don't need to like hold on to any method or any like path or like trusting your own path, right? Like trusting your own the unfolding of how your womb wisdom, or like especially I don't know why I'm feeling called to say this, but especially like you're never too late either. Like when
Yeah.
you discover the womb is when you needed to discover the womb. Um because I also went through like a phase where I was like, why didn't I know this sooner? You know, why like
Yeah.
why or why did I even have to suffer all those times like during my childhood? But
Uh-huh.
it's like no, like your soul knows, you know, your soul like is guiding you, and like when you discover the womb is the perfect time, and that is the medicine as well. So
So
yeah.
good. Oh, that was so good, Yana. The piece that I want to, and it's not leaving, it's definitely wanting to come up. You mentioned when you were tracking your cycle, you did the date, the day of your cycle, the season that you were in, and then you said the moon phase, but not when you started. Do you remember when you started including the moon's data in your tracking?
Oof, I think it was not that far in, like maybe um I actually can, let me think. I think it was like, so I started tracking and I was like in my inner autumn, like day maybe 25, and then I started tracking the moon I think when I was like on day 3 or something of my new
Okay.
cycle. So it was like a
Okay.
maybe a weekend. Yeah.
That explains because the whole time I'm like, she is like, you were just ripping through all these initiations. And I'm like, she's gonna be on the moon before we even get to the new year. And I just remember like feeling the momentum behind you. And the moon, when we track our cycle in alignment with the moon, it's like we add a jetpack to our wings
Mm,
and like stirring up the medicine, the ancestral trauma and drama to be witnessed, our medicine codes, our past life codes, like all of that to me is stored in the moon. And so our womb has its own like trough of stuff, right? But the moon has collective stuff. And so when we are tracking our womb, that's our own path. And then if we start embracing our medicine path with the moon and including that collective trauma and drama in it as well, it just accelerates things. So tracking the moon's phases and the day in alignment with your cycle accelerates the path. And it explains and it helps to like make sense of what like I just really remember Yana being like, dude, she is just like on this crazy. It was so fun and freeing, especially with how compassionate and graceful you stayed with yourself and you just
Oh,
kept
thank
showing up
you.
back in the heart. And it was really so inspiring to witness. So thank you for your medicine and all that you've shared here. I'm so excited for others to start experiencing your medicine one on
Me
one,
too.
maybe even someone watching this video. Yana will be leading one on one sessions while she's in Peru. So, more info to come on that. Anything else to share, Yana, before we go?
Oh, just thank you to you. As much as I know that everything is like perfect, like no one is there to like help anyone necessarily, right? Like we're all like weaving, interweaving, co-creating. Like you are such a um like integral piece to my like womb
Mm.
awakening. So I just want to say like a huge thank you for your compassion and
Oh,
your ability to like stay so rooted in yourself. That was so inspiring to me. Like no matter what I would say on my voice notes, like when I was thinking like, oh my God, this is too much, or like you always reflected such a like stable presence. Like,
mm,
and I know it's because you are just so like,
mm.
in your own like soul connection or whatever, center. And so like that's so admirable and so amazing. Yeah, so much like
Thank you.
power in that.
Thank you. A second ago, I think you were saying co-creating, and it almost sounded like you said coconut creating, and I want to like lock that in.
I was
Coconut
having
creating.
so much coconut milk like the past 2 days, so
So it's
maybe
just
that's what
coming
it is.
out.
Yeah,
I
maybe that's
love
what
it.
it
Well, thank you
is.
to the coconut milk. Thank you, Yana. Thank you to your womb.
Thank you.
Have so much fun in Peru. You are just at the tip
Thank
of the
you.
iceberg of your trip. Have a great ceremony tomorrow, and we will talk soon, my love. Didn't you love Yana? That was such a great session. So, Yana will be hosting cycle tracking sessions called Womb Magic with Yana for the next 3 weeks while she's in Peru. So, if you're seeing this podcast or this video before the end of June and you're a member of the Queendom, Yana will be hosting 2 sessions while she's in Peru to meet with medicine women, priestesses, queens, goddesses, or divine feminines who are just starting to track their cycle or who have been tracking their cycle for a couple of months and have some data and have some information. It's okay if you didn't track every single day. Her and I talked about that in the podcast. And it's just about being able to revisit those times and the seasons of your cycle. Yana will be able to help you make sense of what you experienced or what the data that you have. Or if you're just starting to track your cycle, you can meet with Yana and allow yourself to be witnessed, allow yourself to speak before you think, allow yourself to drop into your womb and simply experience womb magic. Go check out the Queendom. You can register for a session with Yana while she's in Peru. So this is like double the juicy medicine. So you're able to schedule that from the Queendom homepage. If you're not a Queendom member, come and join us. It's amazing. And then once you're inside, you can grab a session with Yana. There's only 2. She's going to flow and navigate and just experience. And then we're hoping she comes back and tells us all about it.